This is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today I've had a very exciting episode for you. We're actually not at Sonoma Antique Apple Nursery. This is the former site of one of their locations that they had where they have some really old, like 30-year-old trees here. And we're at actually a California Rare Fruit Growers, or CRFG, sanctioned event where we're doing an apple tasting and a pear tasting today. So this is actually a blind apple tasting and pear tasting, which means we're all going to be blindfolded. Actually, just kidding. Which means that on the tables that we're going to check out in a moment, there's going to be 44 different varieties of apples and 8 varieties of pears. The only thing on the plate is going to be the apple or the pear cut up into pieces plus a little number. You're not going to know the name. You're not going to know if it's a Fuji or Red Delicious. And I want to let you guys know that these are only 44 varieties of apples. There's like hundreds, maybe thousands of varieties of apples in the world, and most people have maybe tasted like 5, the common varieties that are sold into trade. So I'm really lucky to be at this location today to be able to show you and sample this many varieties of apples, because I'm sure that I'll find some new ones, some ones I like more, and maybe also some ones I don't like as much. But unfortunately, apples today have been grown and selected for actually being able to be stored and shipped well without bruising, and not for traits such as nutrition and even taste, unfortunately. So in any case, let's go over to the tables. We'll show you what it's like. And when you come here, you want to make sure you bring your pencil and have some paper available, because you're going to actually rate each apple to see how you rate them. And then at the end, it's going to be really fun, because then they're going to take a poll of everybody here to see if people liked them or disliked them, and then we'll get the big reveal on the names. And now we get to do the actual tasting. There's over 24 basically apples on this table. Each apple, sometimes there'll be a representation of what it looks like, and then there'll just be little pieces cut up and a number on the plate. And what your job is to take a piece of apple and try it. That's pretty good. And write down your number. So on a scale from 1 to 10, actually I'd rate this one an 8. Next I got to go around to the next one and try it, and I got 44, or actually 45 apples to try. And then we're going to all get together as a group, and we're going to vote, and we're going to see which apple like the best and which one was the worst.
I've seen your videos.
Okay. So next we're going to get to vote on each of the apples and pears that we've tasted, and basically they're going to ask for people voting if they're high. So if they voted from 7 to 10, then they're going to raise their hand if it's high, and if it's 4 or below, they're going to raise their hand for low, and they're not counting the middle of the road, figuring it was just an average apple. So in this way, they're going to determine if an apple was really good or really bad. So let's go to a clip on the voting next.
Number 4, high. Number 4, low. Okay, that's Gold Rush. Not quite ripe yet. Jean had it at her tasting a little bit later last year.
And it won.
And it won the year before too, didn't it?
I didn't have the late. It wasn't
No, you didn't
at
have.
my last
Okay.
one. It was
Anyway, yeah, that is a scab-resistant apple that came out of the PRI breeding program, which is Purdue,
Rutgers.
Illinois, and Rutgers University cooperative program, and it's really a great apple. It's very late. I usually wait till about the 1st of November to pick it.
So next, let's hear a famous quote on the reason for having all these varieties of heirloom apples.
Because there's so many different kind of folks. A person has a right to gratify his legitimate taste. If he wants 20 or 40 kinds of apples for his personal use, running from early harvest to Roxbury russet, he should be afforded the privilege. There's merit in variety itself. It provides more points of contact with life and leads away from uniformity and monotony. That was from Liberty Hyde Bailey. If anybody knows, he's a very famous horticulturist from days gone by.
So we're standing in the very orchard where many of the apples for this tasting were picked. There's over 50 varieties here. Now there are a few inherent problems with the tasting in itself. The first problem, number one, is very simple. is that no two fruits on any tree is always going to taste identical. There's genetic variation, just like every person looks a little bit different unless you're identical twins. Every fruit's going to taste maybe just a little bit different. And if there's two fruits on the, plate, one's cut up, the other one's cut up, one person grabs one, the other person grabs another one, might taste different. The other thing that's even more important and bigger than that fact is that there are some early apples, some mid-season apples, and some late apples. So if the tasting is on a particular day, maybe it falls in line with when this particular apple is in season. Behind me, I believe we have maybe an Arkansas Black, and these guys aren't ripe yet. Meanwhile, the tree next to me, they've been picked over because they're already been ripe already. So you need to remember this, when going to an apple tasting. And oftentimes in commercial production, all the apples are hopefully harvested at their peak, then put into cold storage. That's another thing that can affect the flavor. While I don't necessarily agree with cold storage of apples, some apples can improve with time and may taste actually better after they've been stored a little bit. So that's something to remember, before we get to see the results of the best apples and also the worst apples. So now let's go to the results and hear the results of the best apples and the worst apples at this apple tasting.
What was number one?
Spartan. Number 2 was Liberty, Spartan was number 8 on your list.
Number 15 was
Liberty was number 15 on your list. Tiedemann Late Orange was number 3. It was on number 7 on your list. Baldwin was the next one. Number 43. Fuku Nishiiki, or whatever that is, was the next one.
That was number 27.
Number 27. And then Gold Rush
Number 4 apple.
and Wixon were tied for the next place.
Number 5 apple.
Okay. Number 1 was Spartan. Now on the other side of the thing, the losers by no contest was Black Twig. Apple number 12, Black Twig was a loser. And then Fuji, Red Rome, Red Delicious, Northern Spy, and Laxton's Fortune were the others.
Wow, so we just heard the results, and this is an actual ladder that is used to harvest apples, and many apple trees can get very tall, but they don't need to be that way. Even if you want to grow apples, you can probably grow them at your house, a residential house, keep them trained down short, put them on a different rootstock so they actually won't get quite as big. Anyways, let's go over the results now, and the results were definitely very interesting. Most of the people here, there were about 40 people in attendance, voted, and by consensus vote, all voted that many of the commercial variety apples, such as the Red Delicious and the Fuji, were the worst apples of the bunch. But you guys are commonly eating all these apples that are supposed to be apples, but there's so many more tasty and better varieties, in my opinion, and also based on the other people's opinions here. So I'd really encourage you to seek out heirloom and antique varieties of apples. Now, whether that means you got to go out and buy some trees, plant them on your property, grow some more heirloom fruits so that you can taste the highest quality fruit ever, or whether you need to find and search out local farmers that are growing these heirloom apples so that you can buy them from them, we want to keep heirloom apples alive, because most people in the grocery stores are just getting crap, and they don't have any clue because they don't have the opportunity to come to an apple tasting such as I have had the privilege to do today. So hopefully you'll remember this and grow some or eat some heirloom apples. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're the best.